Hi, this is Paul Beckman, Paul Rainbow Song, and I had a dream this morning. My dream is called Help! Beatles! It started with me being part of a group of folk who were a little bit rebellious, a little bit in revolt, having a good time, celebrating, hanging out at a nice farm with a big barn, lots of activity, people all over the place, and lots of music too. As it happens in this dream, I was staying at the farm, but I knew that tonight I was going to play at the open mic, the Treehouse Cafe. However, it wasn't the open mic on Tuesdays that I usually go to. This was a tribute to the Beatles. Everyone was going to sing Beatles songs, except for me. I was going to be the opening act, and I would sing a song about the Beatles that I would create on the spot. For several days I thought, what could I sing about? What aspect of the Beatles? And then, this morning, when I was up early and then I went back to sleep, I woke up in the middle of nearly falling to my death in a dream, holding on to a door that was swung open, moving to and fro. There I was, and until I woke up, I was afraid I was going to fall many, many stories. 7 stories to be exact, from a barn that started out being 2 stories. Well, this is the story. I had a dream this morning. After the dream, I knew what I was going to sing about. The dream. And that's not all. Here we go. I'm going to explain this dream to you. I've given you an introduction. While in the dream, I knew I was going to sing a Beatles song tonight about the Beatles. That didn't exist. I would make it up on the spot. Well, I was having so much fun where I was, and I was inside the barn right now, and there's lots of people in there. It was pretty loud. Music going on. I completely forgot about going there on time. I was supposed to meet David Chiquest a bit before 6 p.m. I figure 1:45. Well, by the time I looked at the clock as I was walking through the barn on the second level, I noticed that it was nearly 20 to 7. So, while I was realizing that suddenly I had spaced it out, I thought maybe I could sing last. I'll go for that, so I better get there right away. While I was walking in the barn, I ran into Peter Prince. I thought, hey, there's Peter Prince. But as soon as I turned around to say hi to him, he had vanished. I was supposed to be there a bit before 6 tonight to open. Suddenly I felt very bad that I completely forgot about it when I didn't want to. It made me feel really awful. So, since I caught a glance of the clock at 20 to 7, at least if I got there, I could be last. Felt bad about it. As I exited the building, the 2-story barn, I watched the clock before me move backwards, like in Alice in Wonderland. By the time I got out, instead of being past 20 to 7, the clock now said 3 minutes to 6. So I had a chance to get to the Treehouse Cafe to sing a Beatles song about the Beatles, to create one on the spot. I had enough time if I'd hurry. I'd been wondering what I should play. What should my freestyle song be about? I wondered what chords I would use to play the song with. As I opened up the door of the 2-story barn, thinking I was on the first floor and this was the door for that. I had no idea that when you opened the door, there was nothing there on the other side. I didn't watch what I was doing, and I was already in motion, hurrying out the door, when suddenly there was nowhere to step but open space. Ah! I'm falling, and I clutched the handle of the door. My momentum had me opening the door and hanging for dear life. As I looked down, the ground kept getting further and further away, and suddenly the barn grew to 7 stories, not 2. When I realized that the barn floor I was on had grown to 7 floors, dreams do that, I didn't think I was dreaming. I thought this was real. This was real for me in the dream, and I witnessed that. Suddenly, I was in a life and death struggle situation, hanging on, swinging to and fro as the door swung to and fro, yelling, "Help! Help!" Who knows what I must have been doing in my sleep? Could people really hear me if they were walking by? I was yelling as loud as I could with my dream lungs. People below me couldn't hear me because the festive music people were playing was so fun and so loved, and they were really into it. Nobody could hear me, and I was yelling over and over again, "Help!" I yelled and yelled, but no one could hear me. I emptied my lungs and vocal cords to no avail. Couldn't hang on much longer, and I wanted to get free, and I wanted to be at the treehouse to open up with a song about the Beatles, to make up my Beatle freestyle song. Just then, a farmer musician, with things in his hand he was carrying, saw me, looked up and saw me dangling for dear life as I held on to the door handle and rushed to do what he could do to save me. Yet as the door and I swung back and forth, suddenly there was a workbench, a metal workbench beneath me. Not quite beneath me, I had to swing a bit, and I was able to swing enough to put my feet on it and stand up. Finally, I didn't die, and suddenly I woke up. But I could still hear myself yelling, "Help! Help!" Suddenly I realized I was standing on a workbench that saved me, and I straightened my legs. And then suddenly I realized I had been dreaming, and this was a dream. So when I wrote the dream down and reached for the final bag to write on, 2 guitar chords fell out into my lap. So those are the guitar chords I'm going to play with a reggae beat, hopefully. Well, that's my story, and although I already experienced being late for this event, 20 past 7 when I should have been there a quarter to 6, I'm here early now, I'm going on at the right time, and all is well. So, now that that's been said and done, here's the real Beatle treat. Get ready now.